Hello guys, Robot1 here coming at you with a new Yu-Gi-Oh video, the Link Vrains Pack 3 final wave of cards, barring one because they're choosing to hold it until the release of the actual set, I believe, and we all know it's probably going to be a Boojin because of the list. From what we can tell, every Link monster that was on that leaked list on Zodiac, though, is confirmed. So we have got all of those pretty much confirmed on this list. But today we're going to be looking at these Link monsters. I already uploaded a video doing this. I messed up because I didn't have the volume on because I've got it set up, so I need the headphones on. Completely forgot to put on the headphones. My mistake. But the headphones are on. We're going to re-go through all of this and we're going to talk about the monsters. It should be a lot quicker though because of this. And yeah, let's get into it because I want to talk about these Link monsters. I want to get this out to you guys and I want to give you my thoughts and opinions on them. So we start off with the Mecha Phantom Beast Link monster, Ororodon. However, if I pronounce that wrong, I'm sorry. I don't have a lot of time, but yeah. So it's a link-free machine, 2100 attack. Arrows are left, bottom, and bottom right. Link two plus machine monsters to make this monster, and its effect is if this card is link summoned, you can activate this effect. Special summon 3 Mecha Phantom Beast tokens from level 3, 0 attack, 0 defense. Also, you cannot link summon for the rest of the turn. So this effect is basically in tandem with its main effect, which is once per turn you contribute up to 3 monsters to apply the effects. Apply one of these effects depending on the number of attributed monsters. So if you attribute one of the tokens, you can destroy one monster, one card on the field. If you attribute two, you can special summon Mecha Phantom Beast from deck. If you attribute one, all three, you can add a trap from your grave to your hand. Now, my main concerns with this card is that one, you can't link summon for the rest of the turn, so this is more of a card that you're going to do at the end of all of your plays. So if you're going to do it, you best make sure you're able to actually stop your opponent. Two, this effect can only be activated once per turn, so it's needed because of the third effect, but for the first effect, I feel like it would be better if it didn't. And three, special summoning Mega Fan Beast Monster for this card is good for the actual archetype because the main deck is mainly focused on summoning tuna monsters to synchro summon and exceed summon. So for its own archetype, this card is very good. For anything outside, very very interesting. I would say it's not the best, but it can definitely be utilized in other strategies if you chose it. If you're choosing to use it in other strategies. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the first one. Second one, Abyss Actor Hyper Director. Arrows are it's got 800 attack. It's a link one. Wish we had it. Wish we had a link one for heroes, but hey, we don't need it as bad as Abyss Actor. Abyss Actor need this. It's got 800 attack. Arrow is straight down, and its effect is target one card in your pendulum zone. For the rest, for the rest of this turn, you cannot no more special summon monsters except Abyss Actor monsters. Also, special summon the targeted monster. Then take one from your deck or extra deck, Abyss Actor, Pendulum Monster, with a different name from Special Summon monsters. So from that special summon monster, so the monster you special summon can't be an Abyss Actor that you're placing into the spell and trap card zone. And if you do, place it into the spell and trap card zone. So pretty much, you can place any Abyss Actor monster from your deck or extra deck into the spell and trap card zone, different with a different name from the one that you're special summoning. So it just essentially allows you to recuperate resources in Abyss Actor, which is nice, seeing as they really do kind of rely on their skills at times, especially the one that pays 1,000 to search any Abyss Actor card. And the deck does have issues with trying to get to your Abyss Actor cards. So this is just another way to do that, which is really nice. My main beef with this card is that you can't special summon anything but Abyss Actor monsters for the rest of the turn. So that's kind of a problem, I would say. Well, it's not a problem, but it's it's something that it's like it's an end of thing, but it also helps fix the state for Abyss Actors. So it's good for Abyss Actors. Anything outside of that, though, it doesn't really help too much. Next, we have the Sky Striker one, though. So Sky Striker Ace Sieg. It's a Link 2 Dark Machine Link Effect monster. 1,500 attack, arrows are top and bottom. It takes two monsters, including a Sky Striker Ace monster, so Shizuku, Kagari, Hayate, Kaina, and Ace and Ray, plus any other monster. It has to be a link summon, can't be summoned through any other ways, and its main effects are you can only special summon one of it per turn. Its effect is, if this card is linked summoned, you can target one face-up monster on the field, banish it until the next your opponent's next end phase. And also, once per turn, you can target one other card you control. It gains a you can target one other card you control. This card gains 1,000 attack and send the other card to the graveyard. So basically, it allows you to boost itself, which is nice because of a lot of Sky Strikers are quite weak. So this will give you just one of those another way to boost up a bit and beat over some monsters. But its link summoned effect, in my personal opinion, is not the best. I get why you can play it. It's most likely going to be a one-off because it's something that lets you get in that extra damage, which Sky Striker always kind of really needed. At times, because you can just get rid of something that your opponent has, boost this by a K, and then attack into that monster and potentially go into more damage through other means. But my main issue with this card is that it's a link to, so it's going to be very hard to make a Sky Striker. It has to be link summoned, so you can't just ray effect into it, and it just doesn't really help you much outside of those areas. So it is a good card, being that it can get rid of a monster, beat down your opponent a lot easier, and it's decent for Sky Striker, but I don't think it was really necessary for Sky Striker to have. Um, so definitely a good card for Sky Striker. Don't think it was fully necessary for Sky Striker, but is certainly something that Sky Striker will use, especially seeing as it's just quite decent for them. Now the Tenyi Link monster. Now this one is good for Tenyi, very good for Tenyi. So Tenyi Spirit of Saharasa, Hasara, I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a link for arrows are kind of strange, being top, bottom, and right, top, and bottom right. But it takes 2+ worm monsters, so you can use like the link free Berserker and any other worm monster that you can summon, and you can only use the second effect once per turn. And it's good for this card is good for this effect. While you control a face-up non-effect monster, your opponent cannot target effect monsters on the field for attacks or with card effects. So essentially, if you control a Tenyi Berserker, any other effect monster you control now can't be targeted by effects or attacked. So it essentially makes everything else a sort of an Avramax. It makes the normal monster an Avramax, for instance, but it gives the effects to everything else. So it's really good because like you can make this and a Berserker. Your opponent has to attack the Berserker, so they can't really do anything to stop you, which I really like about this card, being that it just gives every effect monster protection, which is really, really nice for Tenyi. Because it's something that it was one of their issues that if you controlled an effect monster, you couldn't really do much. But but they do play some effect monsters, so this is something that will give you that additional thing, like, oh, now you can play Tenyi with effect monsters and have everything protected, so it gives them another edge, which I really do like. And it also has an effect where you can target one effect monster your opponent controls, special on one Tenyi Spirit token, question mark attack, 0 defense, to your field. Its attack becomes equal to the attack of the targeted monster. And I like this effect as well because it lets you make a token that can just crash into your opponent's stuff and you don't really have to care. So it's something that's really nice. You get to be over pretty much anything your opponent has, which is great. And it's just a really cool card because of that. So I like this card for that reason. Now for the artifact Dagdar, link to light fairy effect monster, 1500 attack. Arrows are bottom left and bottom right, and it's generic, being two monsters with different names. So very generic. And you can only use the first and second effect once per turn. Its effects are, when a card or another effect is activated on the field, quick effect, you can set one artifact monster directly from your hand or deck in your spell and trap card zone as a spell card, but destroy it during your opponent's next end phase. Now, I like this card for artifacts in general, but my personal thoughts on this card is that the card is a bit slow. Being that it gives you set up for something like a Durandal or something well, not Durandal, the blue artifacts. I think it's not Durandal. Durandal's the Xyz monster. The blue artifact to then just in the end phase summon it, pop something for free that your opponent has in their end phase and just clear something. It's really nice. But my problem with this card is that it doesn't really boost the game state of any decks or artifacts in general because you have to wait till the end of the turn. If it was like on the start of the turn, make this start of turn, destroy it, and then summon it out. So like you could at least make Scythe a bit better with this card. That would be pretty good. But because you don't have that utility, I don't really like the card to that much a degree. But it's good for an artifact deck in general. Also, it has the effect of if this link summon card is destroyed during your opponent's turn, you special summon an artifact monster from your graveyard. So if you've got a Scythe or the blue one in grave, summon it back, stop extra decks, destroy a card on board. Pretty good in that effect as well. Herald of Mirages, this is pretty cool as well. Two down pointing arrows, and it takes two monsters with the same attribute and type, so it's pretty generic as well for quite a few decks. And its effect is very good as well, being that when a spell or effect is activated, quick effect, you can send one fairy monster from your hand to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So it's basically got that built-in Herald effect, which we all really know is good because it's got like purple and green mixed together. Um, and its other effect is if this card in its own possession is sent to the graveyard, you can add one. You can add from your graveyard to your hand up to two cards with different names that are ritual monsters or spells. Now, I like this card purely for the fact that one, it's good for Herald of Perfection. Herald of Perfection is great with this card. Say your Herald dies, this dies, then you can add a ritual spell and a Herald of Perfection from your graveyard to the hand, summon them back, and have more negates. Well, this also gives you another type of negate for spell and trap cards, which is great because if your opponent has got that ability to just negate you with a spell or trap card and has negated your Herald of Perfection, for instance, then this is just a way to prevent that, which is really nice, and I really do like that for this reason. So another very good Link monster coming out of the Link Vrains pack for this. Next, we got Samorg, Bird of Kings, which is a very good support, very good Link free as well. It's a Link free Winged Beast effect monster, 2400 attack, bottom left, bottom center, and bottom right. So three down pointing arrows, 2+ monsters, including a winged beast monster, which is great, which is good. And you can only use the third effect of this card's name once per turn, and it cannot be used as link material. Now, this card is very good for a few reasons. One, its first effect. This card, also winged beast monsters, it points to cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effect. So every winged beast and itself untargetable. Amazing. If this card would be destroyed by battle, you can destroy one small card you control instead. Has built-in protection. Amazing. During the end phase, you can special summon from your hand or deck one winged beast monster whose level is equal to or lower than the number of unoccupied spell and trap card zones on the field. So there are 10 unoccupied spell and trap card zones. You can summon any winged beast monster from 10 and below. That is amazing. You could special summon an Apex Avian. You could special summon an Earthbound Immortal. You could special summon some more big monster that you want to summon. This card gives you access into pretty much the whole Winged Beast area of Yu-Gi-Oh! And that is insane. It's protected, it makes them protected, and it summons things for free. This is a very good card for a deck for Winged Beasts. It's very good in general and can summon out a negate from your deck, which is why I think this card is really, really good. And the final Link monster that we got, Yuki-Onna, the Absolute Zero, Elemental here, Absolute Zero. You've got a waifu now. Mayukashi. It's a Link 4 zombie Link effect monster, 2900 attack. Same arrows as Boral Load, left and right, bottom left and right. Can only use the third effect of this card once per turn. You can only control one Yuki-Onna, the Absolute Zero Mayukashi. Negate the activated effects from an opponent's monster that was banished when that effect was activated. If a monster... So basically, it stops something. This effect is interesting. I want to talk about this for a second, real quick. This effect is interesting because it prevents stuff like Thunder Dragons, Shiranui, any effects that would activate in the banish zone. Is really cool. So it doesn't stop stuff that would like Orcus that. Like negate the activated effect from an opponent's monster that was banished when that effect was activated. Wait, was banished. So this stops Orcus then? Because the earlier translation I read was while it was banished. Wait, that was banished when that effect was activated. No. It wasn't banished yet. Or the reading, really. Negate the activated effect from an opponent's monster that was banished when that effect was done. Okay, so yeah, it's the same as while it was banished. So it stops like Thunder Dragon effects. It stops like any effect that would happen in the banished zone, which is interesting. It's not good, but it's interesting, and it's generic zombie support, so interesting in general. And its final effect is if a monster is special summoned from the graveyard, if a monster effect is activated in the graveyard, you can target one face-up monster on the field. Its attack becomes 0, also negates its effects. So it has onboard negation when your opponent attempts to summon from the graveyard, or yourself, or if you activate an effect in the graveyard, or summon something from the graveyard yourself, which is nice. It lets you beat over things in zombies, and with cards like Mizuki, this is a good addition to that. But guys, these are all the Link monsters. Sorry that I was quite fast in this video. I was trying to be... I've got to go to work, and I obviously messed up on the last recording, which was a big flop for me. But guys, all of these Link monsters are really cool. They all have unique effects and unique playstyles for their main archetypes, while also bringing light to new sort of strategies, such as like the Samorg being really good in like multiple different winged beast decks in general. The Herald just making fairy decks have more negates. The Artifact being nice support for just generic decks. The Tenyi Synchro Link being an amazing card for Tenyi. The Sky Striker really being needed, but it's kind of interesting to see what it does. The Abyss Actor being really good for Abyss Actors in general, not really anything else though. And the Mecha Phantom Beast being good for its own archetype. So, guys, these are all the Link monsters. Tell me what your thoughts of them are in the comment section below. Tell me your thoughts, your opinions. Don't forget to check out my team Facebook page, Team Black Rose Dragon. And I will see you guys in the next one. Robert Bat1 signing out. This will probably be out after I get back from work. Later all.